Well, hello once again, all my current YouTube subscribers, and of course also to any brand new browsers who are joining us for the very first time. Now, welcome to you all, and I hope you are continuing to enjoy my vintage dirt bike content as we head towards the coveted 9,000 subscribers total. Now, despite our 2020 racing season being put on hold due to the dreaded COVID-19 virus, I hope you're all well and in the best of health. So to try and lift your spirits a bit, we're going to take a look at a couple of nice Spanish motocrossers from the 1970s. So stay with me for the next few minutes as we check out Kenny Harper's 250 and 360 Bultaco Pursangs. Now, these lovely pair of Bultacos have been Kenny's race bikes for some years now, and when they turn up at classic and vintage race events, they're always immaculately turned out, as you can see. But don't be fooled about how glamorous these bikes are, because these are certainly no garage queens or show bikes. These are undoubtedly full-on race machines and are used regularly, although it just so happens they look superb into the bargain. Now, we're going to start with Kenny's 250 Pursang. Now, although I was never told the actual year of the bikes, I'm almost sure that both of these machines are 1974 bikes. Now, of course, these Bultacos were made famous by legendary American motocross racer Jim Pomeroy in 1974 when he shocked the motocross racing world when he won the Spanish Motocross Grand Prix on a Bultaco. And the story goes that Francesco Bulto, who formed Bultaco in 1958, named the Pursang motocrossers after Pomeroy to celebrate that fantastic achievement. Now, a single cylinder two-stroke motor, of course, with that forward folding kickstart, which I always thought was a bit awkward, because when you came to kick the bike over, it wasn't long before the actual kickstart fouled the footrest. Now, the engine also had a 32mm Amel carb with a 5-speed gearbox and the standard wet multi-plate clutch. Although on Kenny's 250 here you can see he's fitted a more modern Mikuni carburetor. Now, these 250s handled quite well because they were light and quite powerful with that 250 motor, although they did have certain limitations in the suspension department. Now, a fiberglass fuel tank, of course, on these bikes, which was very common for Bultacos in the 1970s. Now, the rear suspension was not the best, but you have to remember that this was, again, the 1970s, so suspension systems were not as they are today. And again, the low-slung exhaust system, which was prone to being damaged by rocks and stones, etc. But nevertheless, it's a very nice example, this 250 Pursang of Kenny Harper's. Now, the motors had loads of bottom end grunt, although you had to keep your eye on the primary chains on these bikes, which could come slack and flap about, and in more serious cases even smash through the clutch casing. Now, this is Kenny's other Bultaco, which I'm guessing is another 1974 bike, but a 360 this time, and this bike is just superb and looks for all the world a fully original machine. Once again, this is no show bike, and this machine and also Kenny's other 250 are both racers, although I can never work out how he manages to keep them in such prime condition. Now, this 360 bike was possibly the better of the two machines in Kenny's collection, because you had that little bit more power from the slightly bigger 360 motor. But this red and yellow colour scheme on the 360 does it for me, and is a great combination between the red tank, the side panels and the silver painted frame, which makes this bike so aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And as you can see, this is another beautiful example of a 360 Bultaco Pursang, this bike of Kenny's, although Kenny's machine has had this replacement exhaust system fitted. Of course, a trademark of these Bultacos was to have the engine casings highly polished, as per the top and bottom triple clamps on the forks, and the front and rear brake hubs were also highly polished. Now, whether that was to make the bike more attractive while it was sitting in the sale room, I don't know, but it certainly catches your eye, that's for sure. And Kenny's 360 here has the gear shifter on the right hand side of the bike. Of course, this could be changed to the left hand side if required. But nevertheless, these Bultacos are not a bike that you see regularly on a day-to-day basis on the vintage and classic racetracks around the country, but nevertheless these were still fantastic little machines. And in this shot you can see those highly polished Bultaco top and bottom triple clamps, which of course were a trademark of Bultaco when these bikes were brand new in 1974. Now, of course, Bultaco was founded by Francesco Bulto, who worked actually for Montesa back in the day as a company director, but then he left some years later to form his own motorcycle company in an old farm building. But in 1959, Bultaco launched their first ever motorcycle, which was a road-going 250 called the Bultaco Tralla. Now, as you know, the Bultaco company logo was made up from a combination of Francesco Bulto's surname with the last three letters of his nickname at the time, which was Paco, and so the name Bultaco was then born. Now, the other part of the company logo, the thumbs up sign, was added after Francesco again witnessed British motorcycle racer Dave Whitworth giving his pit crew the thumbs up sign to say everything was okay with his motorcycle, and soon after that Francesco Bulto adopted this into his company logo. Now, just one other little bit of trivia about Bultaco. Now, if you remember the famous MotoGP road racer Sete Gibernau, who was actually the grandson of Bultaco founder Francesco Bulto, and Sete used to race MotoGPs with the Bultaco thumbs up logo on the back of his race helmet. Now, Kenny not only has these nice pair of Bultacos in his workshop, but he also has a nice assortment of Czechoslovakian CZs or CZs if you're listening in the States. Now, if this is the kind of quality which Kenny produces, then you can only imagine what his CZ or CZ collection looks like. But of course, by 1975, just a year after these bikes were made, things were beginning to fall apart for the Bultaco factory, which had lots of labour infighting, whereby the factory then closed its doors in 1979. And up until 1979, as you know, Bultaco made some fantastic off-road machines between these Pursang motocross machines and other trials bikes. But this is a very nice tidy collection of Bultacos from Kenny Harper. So please stay tuned to my channel for more of these great old classic motocross machines from back in the day. This video was brought to you in association with WorldSport, the world's #1 supplier for all your off-road and leisure sportswear. Just visit their online website for more information.